Welcome. Before we begin, a few safety tips. Please keep track of your belongings. In case of emergency, walk to the closest exit and move far away from the building. And please, report any suspicious behavior to our staff. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we can no longer bring you the movie Sound of Freedom. Instead, please enjoy our replacement, Cuties. Don't worry, they're both films about kids.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and a bizarre series of events have seemed to be culminating around the smash box office hit, Sound of Freedom. Now, I say it's a smash box office hit because of the comparison of its budget versus how much money it's generating. It had a $15 million budget and is closing in on $50 million at the box office, and with no signs of slowing down, although this week we'll have Mission Impossible, so you'll actually some serious competition there. But across the country, there have been many complaints, issues raised about potential shenanigans going on. AMC canceling tickets, AMC turning off air conditioning, AMC canceling showings. Well, now the CEO and president of AMC has been forced to respond to these claims. Now, here's the thing. AMC did take a risk by distributing this film in their 3,000 different theaters. They're not all AMC, but it's in 3,000 theaters. And I want to be careful. Like, we don't want to make them regret that, right? Because the point is, the message of this movie, whether certain things have been embellished or not, that's basically all movies, okay? Things like that get done in the name of entertainment. But let's take a look at his response, some of the shenanigans, and the rest of the story. By the way, in case you're wondering, the computer I use, the computer I always recommend, is from Meta PCs. I have this page that I worked with them on, putting together some various different options, different levels. My actual computer that I'm using right now is on here. This is a company that does not bend the knee to cancel culture, and on top of that has an amazing product. Promo code The Quartering will save. They have laptops, they have financing that you can customize, build yours from the ground up if you want. So when you're in the market, if you're in the market for a new computer, remember Meta PCs and promo code The Quartering to save. Now, Sound of Freedom dominates box offices across the country, smashing records, really, sitting at number one some days this week. Sound of Freedom has been dominating box offices across the country in places like Florida and Texas its first weekend, out after taking the number one spot across the country on its release date on July 4th. The film, which deals with terrible topics, has done incredibly well in the middle of the country and the southern portion of the United States, becoming the number one movie over the July 7th, 8th, and 9th weekend at multiplexes in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Phoenix, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Salt Lake City, according to ComScore data. It ended up beating Disney's highly anticipated Harrison Ford sequel, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, along with Insidious Red Door, its opening weekend in these places. Sound of Freedom comes from Angel Studios, the same company responsible for other popular faith-based television series like The Chosen. Angel Studios CEO Neil Harmon said in a statement that the movie has taken a life of its own. The big takeaway of this box office hit right now is that it will give them money to fund additional projects. That's the win. Yeah, let's say it completely peters out at like $60 million. $60 million return on a $15 million investment is a Hollywood wet dream. That means they could they have enough money to make two more similarly budgeted films. And honestly, for this small budget, I thought it looks very, very good. The soundtrack, very, very good. They spent their money so incredibly wisely. But now to the shenanigans, okay? AMC CEO responds to reports that AMC theaters are suppressing Sound of Freedom. This is via Bounding Into Comics. A number of viral videos speculated that AMC theaters were suppressing the film by shutting off air conditioning or creating random emergencies that resulted in moviegoers having their tickets refunded. TikTok user isn't she a daisy shared a video where a woman says, so I've seen this all over TikTok. People are going to watch the movie Sound of Freedom, and these weird things are happening, like random emergency evacuations, the air conditioning not working, and having to leave the theater. And I thought, no, well, let's just watch it.
The Sound of Freedom today, and about an hour and 20 minutes into the movie, we get a random emergency evacuation. None of the staff knows what's going on. The mall wasn't being evacuated, just the theater. All they did was refund us our money with no explanation. But I guess you can call me a conspiracy theorist.
So it looks like somebody pulled the fire alarm is what it looks like to me. Another TikTok video from user Bleaghab112 shows you're saying, so don't know if any one of you have already been to see The Sound of Freedom, but my friends and I just walked out and we were curious what your experiences were in the movie theater because we pre-ordered our ticket, paid for them, then were claimed, got sent the link, and it was an AMC theater in Pineville, North Carolina. Some point today, the tickets got refunded to my friend, and we couldn't figure out why. So we come anyways to the theater after dinner, and they're like, oh, well, we refunded all the tickets because there's no air conditioning in our theaters. Okay, whatever, we don't care. Are you still showing it? Yeah, you can still watch. So we got thinking, why didn't they send out a notice in the email saying, hey, we're refunding your tickets because there's no air conditioning, and we are just curious why they didn't let us know. There was no one in the theater. It was us four and four other people, 8 people in the theater on Friday night. There was air conditioning in the lobby. There was air conditioning in the hallways. There was air conditioning in the bathrooms, but not the theaters. They don't have a bar, or they don't have the bartender or anything in the theater. I smell something shenanigan-y. In a follow-up, she questioned, how many people do you know would have actually gone to the theater knowing that your tickets had been refunded? Well, yeah, I mean, if you got the tickets and then they were refunded, I think people would say, oh, well, what the heck, and not go. Obviously, right? Obviously. In response to these videos, and likely others like them, AMC Theater CEO Adam Aaron shared to Twitter, quote, really bizarre FUD. I don't know what FUD sounds. I don't know. Around Twitter, that we are suppressing attendance for Sound of Freedom. Yesterday, we showed that movie 3,000 times across our 570 theaters, and more than 100,000 people watched it at AMC theaters. Misinformation on Twitter is astonishing. Bots, haters. A day later, he issued another tweet writing, let's put this ridiculous conspiracy to bed. Friday and Saturday, more than 250,000 people watched Sound of Freedom at AMC in the U.S. Angel Studios, head of distribution, quote, no other theater chain in the world has shown more support for Sound of Freedom and Angel Studios than AMC. I don't disagree with that. I actually think if it's anything in like a coordinated fashion, right? It's probably employees who, a woke rogue employee did it, or it's people that are just going into the theater and pulling the fire alarms or things of that nature. Why would AMC do that? To be totally honest with you, they stuck their neck out to host this film. If they don't host it in those 570 theaters, this movie's not anywhere near as big of a hit as it was. I mean, they said 250,000 people. Think about how that money that was generated from that. $10 a seat, $15 a seat. Talking about close to $4 or $5 million in sales. Angel Studios co-founder Jeffrey Harmon responded to Aaron's original tweet writing, Adam, I am the co-founder of Angel Studios, and I want to personally thank you for how amazing of a partner you've been. Many of your managers have reached out to me and personally told me they love what is happening, and they've worked so hard to bring a great experience to Sound of Freedom to fans. Angel Studios CEO Neil Harmon also responded saying, we are so grateful that you stepped up to support this film. Thank you for your partnership. YouTuber Coach's Archive responded to Aaron's comment saying the only thing that he has tweeted about the Sound of Freedom is a response to suppressing and the apparent sabotage. All of the stories that many of you have shared, that's the only thing that he has done. And he actually questions whether we are bots or haters. You've got to be kidding me. If you've got time to praise Mission Impossible, you've got time to praise Barbie, you've got time to praise Indiana Jones, but the #1 movie in the theater on 2 different days in the last 7 days, you can't say a word about it. That's all I need to know about you, Mr. Aaron, CEO of AMC, he concluded. Well, I don't know. I think that you have. I understand why. I understand why people would think this, and I even understand, the thought of these leftoids, doing it as employees. But as far as a coordinated effort to suppress it by their CEO, I want to be careful about that, because if the guy gets too much flack, he's not going to show the next movie, is he? And the fact that this movie got as big as it did is directly result of, obviously the word of mouth has been insane, but because they shared it. Look at this. Jason Jones, who is a alleged Christo-fascist, you see here, after seeing Sound of Freedom last night, I can't help but wonder, why are so many left-leaning news outlets working so hard to discredit a film meant to raise awareness about a terrible crime? Looking at you, Washington Post, Rolling Stone, Media Matters, Jezebel, and The Guardian. Why did Biden's Department of Justice just remove trafficking as an area of concern when 350,000 people are reported missing every year in the United States? Biden's DOJ international trafficking of minors removes it as an area of concern. Just today, California Democrats blocked SB 14, a bill that would have made trafficking of a child a serious felony in their state. Why did they get rid of that? Well, that's a good question. While I'd love to have a definitive answer to these questions, I think we already know the answer. In the meantime, go see Sound of Freedom. We can't let these morally bankrupt freaks win this fight. Yeah, I think it's a very fair question to be asking people. It's very, very concerning to me that why would anyone have any problem with this film? If the contention is that, oh, it's sensationalized or whatever, it's freaking Hollywood. Name a documentary that hasn't been, or it's like a docudrama or whatever you would call it. The film, I think I'm gonna look at my books and see if I can donate some tickets to this film for people that don't have the cash to go see it. I'm gonna look into that, and because people need to see it, and I think that it's a really smart marketing system that they did, with the donating tickets. You see why Sound of Freedom why is it a hit? Well, because, you guys, you weirdos in the press keep saying not to see it. Don't you think? Yeah, I think so. Make sure to check out Meta PCs, link in the description. Head on over there and just pop open their chat window and say the quartering sent you. They always enjoy that. And it's been a while since I shouted them out, and I wouldn't have the setup I do if not for Meta PCs. Promo code The Quartering, link in the description. We'll talk to you again real soon.